Hello everyone, welcome to another Relics of Hyrule video guide video. I'm Jay Calinad, author of Relics of Hyrule, and this video guide video is about the Master Sword, the keystone of the mod, the seed item of Relics of Hyrule. And I say that because Relics of Hyrule started with the Master Sword. So I made the Master Sword mod back in 2013, early 2013. And then by August of 2013, the mod had grown, and that was when it was released. And the Master Sword was sort of the keystone of it. So, that being said, I'm going to explain sort of the lore behind it in the context of Relics of Hyrule. I'm going to explain where you can find the Master Sword. That's kind of important. How you can improve it, and my thinking behind all the different elements of the Master Sword. All that being said, let's find it. So first things first, you're going to be in Falkreath. This is the Falkreath Hold. Right here is Falkreath. So you can start at Falkreath, and you can go east. If you want to start at Riverwood, Riverwood's up here. But you want to go to Falkreath. And Peakshade Tower is a good landmark. We also have the Falkreath Secret Grotto, which is from Relics of Hyrule. And we have Morwhittajal, which is a dungeon, major dungeon in Relics of Hyrule. One of the top three. One of the big three, I mean. I don't know. Maybe it is one of the top three. But anyway, Peakshade Tower is right here. But we're going to keep going down this road. And I'm going to get ready, actually. Because there's some yahoos up here. So I'm going to get... I guess I'm going to get my bow out. And these yahoos, these bandits, are going to make our life a little more difficult, so we don't want to really deal with them. But I'm ready in case they're being stupid. How'd you get that rock in there? Jeez. And a kettle. I mean, a kettle makes sense. Oh, there's another one. No kettle in that one. How did you load that giant... Oh, there is a kettle. There's a kettle in both. Yeah, real good job up there, guys. Alright, cool. I missed both times. Get out of here. Wow. Great job. Proud of you. Keep it up. Right in the noggin. Okay. We're gonna swing around here. I believe this is the Falkreath Secret Grotto that I'm walking past right now. Yes, it is. I can tell because there's a golden fox over there. You can see it through the trees. But anyway, what we want to do is we gotta go to... Ancestor Glade is where we want to go. That is the location that we are aiming toward. So, actually, the Falkreath Secret Grotto is a great landmark because this road, unless I am entirely confused, this road leads to Ancestor Glade. So we're gonna just go on up here. I believe there might be some bandits that we have to take care of on the way up. Maybe, maybe not. No, we're good. Okay, so question, why is the Master Sword in Ancestor Glade? Well, originally, when Relics of Hyrule was first released, and when the Master Sword mod was first made, there were two different versions of it. One had the Master Sword in Eldergleam Sanctuary, and the other had it in Ancestor Glade. Ancestor Glade is a Dawnguard exclusive location, so if you play Dawnguard, if you play that DLC, you will find the Master Sword. But, if you have Relics of Hyrule installed. However, it didn't... at some point, I stopped maintaining the no DLC version of the mod, because it was getting so big that I didn't want to have two different versions. So, Ancestor Glade was kept as the location, and the Power Sword was put in Eldergleam Sanctuary. And that was the case for base Relics of Hyrule. And the Master Sword was its own thing in its own mod. But that's all 2013. It's been 13 years. since the Master Sword mod that I made was released. So Ancestor Glade is where the Master Sword is going to be, and that's where it's going to stay. And when you see it, you'll see that it is the perfect place for the Master Sword, by far. It's not on the Throat of the World. I never even considered that. That is the Nintendo Switch version, and we're not getting into that. This is a completely different experience. I'm trying to weave it into the sort of the world of Skyrim in a way that makes sense. So why Ancestor Glade? I wanted it to be reminiscent of the Lost Woods, where the Master Sword was in Link to the Past, and also the in Twilight Princess, if I remember correctly, the Master Sword was in there. And Ancestor Glade is kind of a... I mean, the name Ancestor Glade is perfect. But also, like, it sort of positions the Master Sword in this really lush location that implies that there's a really, really old temple that used to be there, and now it's all gone, and the Master Sword is left. Now, let's go in there and get the Master Sword. Here's the thing. You'll have to be ready to fight 3 Spriggan Earth Mothers. These were not added by Relics of Hyrule. These are vanilla to Dawnguard, and a complete happy accident that there are 3 Spriggan Earth Mothers in here. Either you fight them or you just run right past them, and then I think they stop bothering you if you go fast enough. So I'm just going to not bother them. I'm just going to try to go past. Hello, don't mind me. It is perfect that there are 3. Hello. You can see all 3 on my radar right now. I am going to go... I think they stop bothering you. Or maybe they don't. Maybe I will have to fight them. No, I will have to fight them. Okay. At least this one. Alright. We get it. We get the picture. Nope. No, thank you. What are you doing? Don't kill me, please. I'm doing a video. Thank you. Alright. Heal myself up. So here's the dramatic reveal of Ancestor Glade, and you can see the Master Sword down there. And this is just perfect. It really is perfect. And the approach is magnificent. It looks like it was meant to be there, and that's why I put it there. Because there's just this perfect approach, and it's right in the smack of the dab, you know? And as far as I know, this beam of light isn't used for anything else. So having the Master Sword here is quite perfect. I'm going to take a quick screenshot for the thumbnail. Don't mind me. Just going to do a little of this. There we go. Alright. Now, I apologize in advance. There is no fanfare when you pick up the Master Sword. And that's by design, because if you look at this Master Sword, first of all, Relics of Hyrule is framed in a way that it puts Skyrim first. And it is a Zelda mod, but it is not a Zelda game. In a Zelda game, you would pick up the Master Sword and there would be this, you know, this huge sort of fanfare to it. And yes, this is the keystone item of the mod, and it's super, super important. But the idea of Relics of Hyrule is that Hyrule is gone, and the goddesses have left the world, and have left behind some like residue, some influence, including the Master Sword, but it is powerless. It has lost its power. You can see it's not enchanted. I can't enchant it. Value is 1985. That will happen a lot in Relics of Hyrule, where the value corresponds to the game that it came from. So, for instance, Longshot is 1998, Sword of the Sage is 2006 to correspond with the games. So the Master Sword, the base power is 10. The base damage is 10. Now, obviously it says 15. That's because Skyrim calculates based on your skill and everything like that. So, in terms of damage of the weapons that I have, it's not that strong. In fact, it's the weakest weapon I have other than this, Poe Torch. It's not super strong, but it's decent. Its weight is 14, which is, it's okay. Let me just check something really quick. If I remember correctly, the Orcish War Axe is about the same strength as the base Master Sword. Let me just double check that really quick. Yes. I am correct, yeah. So, it's on par with an Orcish War Axe in terms of its strength. So, here it is. Huge credit to Dralkkin. He's one of the members of the Relics of Hyrule community. He's a moderator on the Relics of Hyrule Discord. He has been in the community for a very long time. And he made these models for the Master Sword and did a phenomenal job. So, huge kudos to him. This sort of design of the Master Sword is based on the Twilight Princess design, but there are elements of the Ocarina of Time design. So this is a unique design for the Master Sword for Relics of Hyrule. And the idea with the lore is that there's one Master Sword. So you will not find any more Master Swords unless there's a glitch. This is the one Master Sword. And there's a lore about how, there's different elements of the lore that I'm not going to get into. But the idea is all the different incarnations of the Master Sword sort of merged into one in the history of Relics of Hyrule, in the story of it. And one of those sort of fragmented off and turned into the Goddess Sword. But other than that, Master Sword. It starts as the Master Sword, doesn't start as the Goddess Sword, and the Goddess Sword does not evolve into the Master Sword. I'll talk more about the Goddess Sword in its own video. But this is the Master Sword as it's found in Ancestor Glade. And you can see the swing speed. Sorry, butterflies or moths. Compared to the Eightfold Blade. Eightfold Blade's a little faster, so it's basically a sword-shaped Orcish War Axe. It is tempered by Quicksilver, and I call this the Sleeping Master Sword. Okay, we have the Master Sword, so we need to improve it. Because it's great, but we do need to enhance it, bring it back to its former glory. So we are going to go to the Terminin Forge for one of the methods. There is a method at the Ancient Enchanter, and I'm going to run through all those methods. Okay, we are here at the Terminin Forge to improve the Master Sword. And there's a few different methods to making this happen. Let's see if we can find the Master Sword in this list. It is not on here. So we need to find some of the components that we need. Now, to do the awakening process at the Terminin Forge, you need level 65 smithing. And you also need either the Goddess Spell Gems or the Goddess Spells. And by that I mean Din's Ruby, Faror's Emerald, Nehru's Sapphire, or Din's Fire, Faror's Wind, Nehru's Love. You need 3 filled Grand Soul Gems and 3 Golden Butterfly Wings. Golden Butterfly Wings are added by Relics of Hyrule,
disappointed.
Okay, so golden butterflies can be found in Mad God Passage, Arkham Thams, and outside the Rift Secret Grotto. There are 2 golden butterfly wings in the Spirit Temple. You also find one with the magical shield. And they're also sometimes sold by Farron, who wanders around in the Rift. That's a lot, but I'll gather all that stuff, and then I'll show you what the 2 different methods are like. Okay, we have everything we need. We have the 3 Golden Goddess gems, and we have 3 filled Grand Soul gems, and we have 3 Golden Butterfly wings. So here's the Awakened Master Sword. We need the Master Sword, as you can see. 3 Grand Soul gems, 3 Golden Butterfly wings. You'll notice that the Din's Ruby, Pharaoh's Emerald, etc. are not in the list. You just need to have them in your inventory. Wow. Ellery is heating her feet, I guess. But yeah, you can see there they are. There's Din's Ruby. There's Pharaoh's Emerald. And Nehru's Sapphire. These can be found in Silverdrift Lair, Lost Valley, Ridout, and what's that last one? Shroudhearth Barrow, respectively. And then, like I said about Golden Butterfly Wings. Now, you can either have the gems themselves, or you can have the spells. So I'm going to learn the spells really quick to show you that it works. So Din's Ruby, and you can actually have a mix and match. You can mix and match them. So I have Din's Fire. Din's Ruby is no longer with us, but I have the other 2 as gems. But I'm going to learn all 3 spells just to save time later. There we go. So we have all 3 spells, and we have 2 different options here. They're both valid. They're both valid options. They only make 1 Master Sword, though. So we're going to make a Master Sword. But before I do, I need to show you the Ancient Enchanter recipes. So hold that thought. If you are a more magic-minded person and you don't do smithing, you can improve the Master Sword at the Ancient Enchanter in the Midden or at Palestone Camp on Solstheim. And to do that, you will need the 3 Golden Goddess spells, Din's Fire, Pharaoh's Wind, Nehru's Love, and you will need 1 Light Essence. You can see it on the recipe right here. And Light Essence is made from Grand Soul Gems or Grey Gems, and the Prelude of Light and Sun Song help a lot with making Light Essence. But Light Essence is also pretty easy to get, all things considered. In fact, here's a recipe for it. There's a Grey Gem. That's not it. Grey Gem. No, stop it. Grey Gem. Light Essence. Everyone loves it. We'll talk about Dark Essence in a moment. But we have the Master Sword now. So we're going to make this. There is one more method, and that is with the Triforce of Courage. If you have the Triforce of Courage, that's the only thing you need. You can just go straight to the Ancient Enchanter and improve the Master Sword. So we're going to do that. Bam. Master Sword. Bada bing, bada boom. Now, it changes stats. It still has 14 weight, but it's a little stronger now. So let's sort it. Now you can see it's stronger than my... It's actually on par with the honed Zora War Axe. Base weight is 14, and the value has changed, actually. That's odd. I might need to fiddle with that, because the value dropped. It's supposed to be that value plus the value of the enchantment. But clearly something got messed up with the data, and the enchantment is worth nothing. The enchantment is worth 12. Huh, okay. That's not important. What is important is we have the Master Sword. And its base damage is now 14, which makes it on par with a Daedric sword, or the Nightingale blade. So it's pretty strong, and it has an enchantment: Ravages Magicka, 15 points for 20 seconds. Deals 10 points of holy damage with a chance to explode undead enemies. This points of holy damage actually doubles when you encounter an undead enemy, and there's also a hidden perk with this thing. It's technically a silver weapon, so it does 20 extra points of raw damage to undead, but that's not listed anywhere. But it also doesn't get any benefit from the silver perk. It's its own extra damage perk. Also tempered with Quicksilver. Now, let me check real quick on... Okay. Yes, that enchantment, Explode Undead Enemies, is very similar to Dawnbreaker, but it is distinct. Instead of dealing Turn Undead, it will deal more damage to undead enemies. And here's a nice look at it. Let me get a torch or something so that you can see it in more natural light. There we go. That's nice. Model made by Dralkkin, of course. Did a great job with it. And the colors have shifted to be more reminiscent of the purple Master Swords. And it swings about the same speed. Let's test it against... Hello. As you can see, it does damage to undead very nicely. Please don't... Ooh. And when it dies, there's a chance that it'll explode. Let's see if we can get that to activate. Nope. There we go. So, yeah, there's a chance for undead to explode when you kill them with the Master Sword. Or if they're killed while they have that sun damage effect active. And then when they explode, that will hit other undead in the area, and they'll get extra damage. They don't have a chance to explode, so there's not going to be like a chain reaction kind of thing. So, there's one more step, and that is truly awakening the Master Sword. Let's see if it's on the list here. Yep, there it is. So for this, you'll need Din's Blessing, Pharaoh's Blessing, and Nehru's Blessing. And you also need... in fact, that's all you need. You can't do this at the Terminin Forge, but you can do it at the Ethereum Forge or Goron Forge, which requires level 70 smithing, and Din's Blessing, Pharaoh's Blessing, and Nehru's Blessing. These are specific gem types that are similar to the spell gems, but you make them with potent light essence at different forges, like the Goron Forge, the Effusion Altar, and the Zora Forge, which are in the temples, the Fire Temple, the Forest Temple, and the Water Temple. You can also get them with Triforce pieces, but they also react to the Goddess spells, and you can also get them at Goddess fonts. So there's a lot of different ways to get the Blessing Gems. I don't know, let me see. Yeah, Nehru's Blessing, here you go. You can make them at the Ancient Enchanter if you have the right ingredients. Let me just double check what you need for that. You can also make them at the Sky Forge. You can make Yeah, so the Tourmaline Forge, Sky Forge, Ancient Enchanter are alternate obtaining methods, but you typically need Potent Light Essence to make them. So let's make some Potent Light Essence. Oh, whoopsie. Oh, Potent Light Essence, there we are. So we can make Din's Blessing, Faro's Blessing, and Nehru's Blessing here. Let's add 2 more. Because we have all the spells, the Golden Goddess spells. So there's a lot of different avenues for the Blessing Gems. Ow! Sorry, I just hurt my finger for a little bit. So let's get all 3 of those. And now we can make the True Master Sword. Now, there's 2 options here. You can make the Link to the Past design. Right there. You can see the Link to the Past design. Or you can make the classic purple design. Whatever floats your boat. I'm going to make the classic purple design. Actually, I'll make the classic purple design, but I'll show you the other design. And this is the True Master Sword. And the stats are... It's still tempered with Quicksilver, but it is lighter. It has 13 weight and 16 base damage. And its base stats, or its base value is 1991 plus the value of the enchantment. So you can see that it comes up to 2003 because the enchantment has a certain value to it. So I might adjust that so that the values make sense. Made a little note to change that in the future. So, True Master Sword does react with the Ivory Ring and the White Ring to fire sword beams if you're at full health. So that's the Ivory Ring. Here's the White Ring. There you go. Real cool, really awesome. You can also reform the Master Sword to its true form with the Triforces. You require the Triforce of Courage and the Triforce of Wisdom if you're going to enhance it at the Ancient Enchanter. And the Triforce, if you wanted to do the Link to the Past style with Triforce pieces, you need the Triforce of Emotion instead of the Triforce of Wisdom. So you do either the Triforce of Courage and Wisdom, or Triforce of Courage and Emotion to reform it at the Ancient Enchanter. And of course I mentioned the Ethereum Forge and the Goron Forge. If you are a smithing conscious person, you need smithing level 70 and those Din, Faror, and Nehru Blessing Gems, which require Potent Light Essence at various crafting stations throughout the world. Here is a look at the Link to the Past version of the True Master Sword made by Dralkkin. Very, very nice. Very red hilt. Very silver. Is sword. And it fires sword beams, just like the other variant. And like the other variant, it has the following enchantment. It ravages magicka 30 points for 30 seconds. And it has that sun damage, like the Awakened Master Sword, 10 points of sun damage to all creatures, with undead taking an additional 10 points. But it also deals 2 points of shock damage and fire damage for 3 seconds to all enemies. So it hits like a truck. It also qualifies for that extra damage to undead as a silver weapon, but with the Relics of Hyrule variant of that sort of effect. So it's a bit of a honcho. What was that? What does that even mean? It's a strong sword. It's a very strong sword, on par with a Dragonbone War Axe, if I remember correctly. Like, it is stronger than a Dragonbone sword. It is very strong. So, that being said, this isn't the end of the line. This is the end of one line. there's another line, and that is corruption. You can corrupt the Master Sword. So let's go back in time, and we're going to show you how you can corrupt the Master Sword. Okay, I'm going to start with the Ancient Enchanter, mainly because the recipes are very, very similar. So at the Ancient Enchanter, to corrupt the Master Sword, you need the Master Sword, you need Dark Essence, which I'll explain later, Fire Salts, Frost Salts, Void Salts, and 1 Daedra Heart. At the Terminin Forge, the recipe is the same, however you need 2 of each salt, and you need a filled Black Soul Gem instead of the Dark Essence. Also, at the Ancient Enchanter, you need level 50 in Conjuration, and at the Terminin Forge, you need level 60 in Smithing. So it's arguably easier to corrupt the Master Sword than awaken it, because you only need level 60 in Smithing, whereas the awakened Master Sword, you needed 65. And you need Fire Salts and Frost Salts and Void Salts, and you need a Black Soul Gem and a Daedra Heart, which are pretty easy, relatively easy to get. Dark Essence is also pretty easy to get. You can, same as Light Essence, with a Gray Gem and Command Daedra and a Dark Artifact. And by Dark Artifact, I mean things like the Mehrunes Razor, Mesa Molag Ball, Skull of Corruption, the Ebony Blade, Ebony Mail, even the Corrupt Master Sword and Deep Corrupt Master Sword qualify. But Command Daedra will do it. Triforces, you'll be able to use, you could use Triforces if you have Triforces available. Speaking of which, you can corrupt the Master Sword if you have the Triforce of Power. So if you have the Triforce of Power, go to the Ancient Enchanter, bada bing, bada boom, you have a Corrupt Master Sword. So let's make the Corrupt Master Sword really quick. Right away you can see it is monochrome, so we're going to corrupt it. Bam. Now you may notice it's still in the crafting menu. And there's a reason for that. So by default, the Corrupt Master Sword deals fire, shock, and frost damage while absorbing stamina and trapping enemy souls. Specifically, let's see here. I wrote it down. 12 points of fire damage for 1 second. 8 points of frost and shock damage. Also absorbing 15 points of stamina, and Soul Trap activates for 3 seconds. But you can remove the Soul Trap. Now, currently, you can't put it back. I am going to change that in a future update along with the value. Just like the Awakened Master Sword, the value is wonky. It shouldn't be 1012. It should be like 2013 maybe. I might make it 2013. That would make sense if it was 2013, actually. Anyway, but Corrupt Master Sword, Black Soul Gem, Lesser Soul Gem, you can remove the Soul Trap. That has to be a filled Black Soul Gem and an empty Lesser Soul Gem. So, you can remove the Soul Trap, but you can't put it back currently. I will change that. So, like, if you have a filled Black Soul Gem, you can put it back. But that's not the end of the road, because there's one more thing that you can do with the Corrupt Master Sword, and that is you can make the Deep Corrupt Master Sword. It's currently not in my list, so I'm going to gather materials so that we can make the Deep Corrupt Master Sword. Before I do that, really quick, here is a close-up look at the Corrupt Master Sword. We're going to wield it, and we're going to turn on a torch. Where? There, torch. There we go. It's sort of, yeah, it's very nice. It has a very dull, I mean, that might be Ellery's Fairy, but no, okay, yeah, no. It is monochrome, and you can see the low rule Triforce. That might help turn off her fairy. Nope, okay. Yeah. There's a very, very slight reddish tint to the crossguard, It could just be environmental, but it's sort of monochrome, upside down Triforce, has that enchantment like I said. Now let's deeply corrupt it. In order to make the Deep Corrupt Master Sword, you will need either 60 in Conjuration at the Ancient Enchanter, or 70 in Smithing at the Terminant Forge. The recipe is identical in both places. You need 3 Deep Dark Essence, and to make 1 Deep Dark Essence, you need 3 Daedra Heart, 1 Black Soul Gem, and Dark Essence. So we're going to make a Deep Dark Essence. We'll need to make a few more, so I'm going to add some Daedra Hearts, and I think I need more Black Soul Gems. So let's really quickly do that. Hundo. Let's do 10. There we go. Ding, ding. And there we go, Deep Corrupt Master Sword. For the Deep Corrupt Master Sword, you need those 3 Deep Dark Essences. And you need Malice. What the heck is Malice? Well, I'm glad you asked. Malice is specifically this little glob of evil energy. The coloring you may sort of recognize. It is from Breath of the Wild. And it can be found in 3 locations: Ganon's Tower, Shrine of Mehrunes Dagon, and the Soul Cairn. So those are the places you can go to get Malice. There's only 3 samples currently. More may be added, but that's what you need for the Deep Corrupt Master Sword. The value I'll probably leave because that's the 10th anniversary of Relics of Hyrule, so I might as well leave 2023. And let's make the Deep Corrupt Master Sword. There we are. So, let's take a looky at what we've done. What have you done? That is the Deep Corrupt Master Sword. It has a very nice red tint. The model was made by Dralkkin. He did a great job, put a lot of love into this. You can see how razor thin the blade is. And it's sort of modeled after Demise's sword, but also it has elements of the original model of the Deep Corrupt Master Sword. When I first made the Deep Corrupt Master Sword, it was the Master Sword. The original model was by Chief 01. And I added in a part of a dragon bone sword blade to give it that serration, and to give it kind of an element of Demise's sword from Skyward Sword. There's also very pointy quillons? I don't know how to pronounce it. The little wingy dews, and very spiky pommel. And here it is up close. I'm going to re-equip that torch. There we go. Very nice, very glowy. Glowing inverted Triforce, just like Demise's sword. And it has sword beams. And they explode. If they hit something, which I don't think they are hitting anything. Do they explode? They do explode. So, the Deep Corrupt Master Sword. It has the following enchantment. Wait for it. Deep Corrupt Master Sword deals 15 points of fire damage, but it no longer deals fire and frost. It absorbs 20 points of stamina, health, and magicka, and Soul Trap, but you can remove it, just like the Corrupt Master Sword. The Soul Trap effect lasts for 15 seconds. And Sword Beams. Really awesome, really strong sword. Its base damage is on par with the True Master Sword, in that it is base damage of 14? That doesn't seem right. Oh, no. Correction. 16. 14 was the Corrupt Master Sword. It weighs more. Its weight is 15. But it has a normal speed and a normal reach. The Corrupt Master Sword, that damage was 14. With a weight of 15. Normal reach, normal speed. Now, that is the end of that line. However, the Deep Corrupt Master Sword and the Corrupt Master Sword can both be redeemed. So, the idea behind that is the true Master Sword is the actual true nature of the weapon. It is a holy relic blessed by the goddesses, and its true form is not one of darkness, it's one of light. And so I made it possible to purify the Corrupt Master Sword and the Deep Corrupt Master Sword, but I did not make it possible to corrupt the true Master Sword. The idea is the nature of the weapon is to be a holy weapon for the forces of good. It ended up carrying a lot of darkness and evil in it, and you can tip that knife's edge toward the dark path, but there's always a path back to the light. So I wanted to include that kind of hope, and I didn't want any sort of cynicism. I didn't want any I didn't want a negative outlook on, existence by allowing the true Master Sword to be corrupted. Also, with the archive, the museum space in Relics of Hyrule, if you put the Deep Corrupt Master Sword on display, it will put on the Corrupt Master Sword and the Sleeping Master Sword, but not the True Master Sword. If you put the True Master Sword on display, it will bring in the Deep Corrupt and Corrupt, because that's the end of the line. So anyway, how do you purify it? Well, if you're at the Terminin Forge, you can purify the Corrupt Master Sword with this recipe right here. There's the Corrupt Master Sword, Grand Soul Gem, empty Grand Soul Gem, Scroll of Banished Daedra, Scroll of Grand Healing. You need level 60 in smithing to do it, and that's one requirement at the Terminin Forge. If you're at the Ancient Enchanter, you don't need any skill requirement. I will show you that recipe real quick. If you're at the Ancient Enchanter, you can purify the Corrupt Master Sword, either version, like I said, either no Soul Trap or Soul Trap, using 2 Light Essence, Grand Soul Gem, and that's it. Or, if you have the Triforce of Wisdom, you can do that as well at the Ancient Enchanter. Now, what about the Deep Corrupt Master Sword? With the Deep Corrupt Master Sword, you can only purify it at an Ancient Enchanter, and you need Triforce pieces. So, right now I have the Triforce of Knowledge, and I believe that's it. I have the Triforce of Emotion and Willpower. I have the Lolian Triforce pieces. So let's get the Triforce of Courage. Nope. Now, I'm doing this for the sake of the video. I'm not encouraging you to use these console commands, because that's not fun. Okay, we have the Triforce of Courage, Triforce of Knowledge, Triforce of Wisdom. Those are the 3 Triforces you need to purify the Deep Corrupt Master Sword. And as you can see, all you need is the Deep Corrupt Master Sword, no other things, and it will reset it to the Sleeping Master Sword. And from there, you can bring it down the Path of Light, or you can corrupt it again. That's up to you, if you just want to make like Sisyphus and constantly do that. that is the Master Sword video. That's all she wrote. It is the keystone of the mod, like I said. I should just have this in my hand. What am I doing? Look at this guy. So, it's the keystone of the mod. That's why it has so much involved with it. It's designed for you to sort of play through a lot of the mod and get a lot of different elements, and all use it to funnel into one item. There's also notes. I didn't mention this, but a lot of the recipes that I've mentioned in this video are on notes. There's one in Kiltreath Ruins, and there's one at the Vigilant, the Stendarr's Beacon. I think there's one in the Hall of the Vigilant. So there's a few recipe pages scattered around to hint you how to restore or corrupt the Master Sword. So it's ingrained into the world in a lot of ways. So I hope this video was informative. I hope if you are familiar with Relics of Hyrule that this helped. If you're not, I hope this was a good introduction to the mod, including one of the biggest items in it. I do want to say, though, that I consider the Master Sword to be finished. Obviously, there's some tweaks that I want to make. Like, I want to tweak that value. But impossible in normal gameplay. Whoa! I'm not going to change the enchantment or the recipes or anything like that. I am not considering any changes to the Master Sword. I consider it complete. Obviously, there's some, like, oversights. That's different. I just don't want to change the design or the method or anything like that. I just want it to stay the same. I want to focus on other stuff in the mod. I don't want to keep rehashing the same item over and over. And yes, it is an iconic item, but it's not the only item in the mod. It is the seed that started the mod, but I don't want to work that seed to death. I just wanted to say that because I've gotten so many requests and suggestions about the Master Sword. It's fine. It's done. It's finished. It's done over and finished with. It's finished and done with. That's it. That's all I got. So thanks for watching, and be sure to drink your Ovaltine. Check out the other Relics of Hyrule video guide videos on my channel. Goodbye.